A Night of the Seven Kingdoms has come and gone, and we are here to rate and review what we thought of the very first season of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. If you have not already joined us for this, welcome in, one and all. We're here to talk about Game of Thrones. We're here to talk about Ak-Kutsok. It's the With Mates podcast. What's happening, troops, and welcome back to the With Mates podcast. My name is Andrew Grayson, your host as ever, and I am joined today once again. It's our favourite thing to do. It's me and this guy going one-on-one. He is the smackiest of smacks. He'll smack your bitch up. He is Polly Smack. Paul, stand up.
Some people say a smack is made out of mud. Some people smack and there's lots of blood. Smack and blood and blood
That's
and
plenty.
mud.
Hi, Paul.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
I'm good, yeah.
Lovely. Glad to have you here, mate. So yes, as I say, it was the finale of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We've been doing this review series on YouTube. We're going to try and upload them all onto our podcast feed, all in a oneer. So if you're into listening to stuff, that'll be there on the podcast feed. But yeah, we've been recording these episodes. We've been big fans of the series so far. So this is the finale, and we're going to give you our thoughts on that. So if you've not watched the podcast, if you've not listened to the podcast, we'll give some top kind of general ideas of what we feel about this show, and then we'll get into the spoiler details after we give you a spoiler warning. But before we get into that, we have been and we have recorded the fantasy movie draft. It is currently getting edited. It was a fun little time in studio. We were in I think it was Green Room studio, with the wonderful Sean, who was our commander chief editor in that studio. But yeah, lovely wee time we had there. Lots of looking forward to the movies that are coming out the next year. So that'll be on the YouTube channel very, very soon.
The lovely studio people said it was remarkable that I am a podcast host.
It's amazing. The thing that made me laugh is when he was like, you can tell that these are actually mates. And I'm like, I don't know how, mate, because all we do is fucking abuse one another and stuff like that. But yeah, that'll be coming to the podcast channel very, very soon. But enough about that. Let's get into what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Season 1, Episode 6, The Morrow. The Morrow, or if you're Scottish, The Mora. I do believe my door went. Hold right there.
The Morrow. You say morrow. I say mora. Mora, let's all call it off till tomorrow. You are all very welcome. This has been a Polysmack interlude whilst we await the return of Andrew the Dick Grayson. Next up on the Smack Radio is Smack. Smacky time.
You want to see what I got?
Yes, I do. Hey, who wears short shorts?
So yes, we're here to talk about Season 1, Episode 6, called The Morrow, or if you're Scottish, The Mora. So yeah, it's the final episode of this first season. Paul, what did you think? Top thoughts, non-spoilers. Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a fitting finale? Has it made you excited for next season? All that stuff, let me know.
I think it's definitely a return to the earlier episodes and style and how it came across. But now we've been through the tumultuous battles and the excitement, and we're seeing the aftermath, and we know a bit more about these characters and what they're doing. So yeah, no, it wasn't by any means a big crazy battle or anything, but it was cool sort of seeing the consequences of that and therefore what was going to happen next. So yeah, no, I quite enjoyed it.
The thing for me is, I feel as if it's going to be similar to this podcast. It's short and sweet, and that's what you could probably say. You could probably say that about the series overall. 30-minute episodes, very, very quick. For me to begin with at the beginning of the series, I didn't like that because I felt as if we weren't really getting a lot. We weren't getting enough.
Wasn't enough meat. There wasn't enough meat on that chicken bone.
Whereas now, like I've kind of sat on it, and like I think it's perfect. Like I think it's a perfect little series for what we want from it. Like now we know what this show is, and now we know the kind of vibe and the tone and and what they give us. Like, to me, I'm going, no, that was perfect. That was like a lovely wee 6 weeks of nice wee 30-minute episodes. We got 3 of the best episodes. So if you look at the breakdown, like, so on IMDb, episode 1's an 8.2, 2, 8.4. Then you get 3 massive hitters. 3, 4, and 5 are 9.1, 9.6, and 9.5 respectively.
Ooh.
And then episode 6 is finished with an 8.7. And it's like, again, it's essentially, this episode is just the fallout of what happened last week and setting us up for what's to come in season 2. And everything that was in this, and it's the fun thing as well for me. It's fun, but it's also frustrating because I don't know when we're going to get the next season. I'm assuming it'll be a year or two. It's making me excited for the next season of, like, it's setting stuff up where I'm like, oh, but I want to know what's happening. I want to know what we're going to get. Whereas at the start of the season, I was just like, oh, well, what are we getting? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the fallout was great. I loved the beginning of the episode. I loved the ending of the episode. And there was some lovely wee bits in between. So, yeah, to me, big fan. But overall, this is... If I have 2 or 3 series that are better than this series for the rest of the year, we're eating well. We're eating well in terms of TV. You know what I mean? Like, we've added in a TV pick for the movie draft. Devastated. In fact, actually, what did it get on Rotten Tomatoes? I've not actually looked that up just now. Let's have a wee look.
A little gander.
Rotten Tomatoes. A little gander. But yeah, Paul, what have you thought of the series, like, overall?
Overall, I think this has been a very charming series. I think that's maybe one of the words for it. Because, like you say, like, short, sweet, to the point. He's no very noble, but he's not noble in birth, but he is noble in character, and that's why he's trying to bring that back to the good name of knight, and he's realizing a lot of knights are just kind of full of themselves, and we see that throughout the series. You know, there's the guy who helps him out, his cousin. You know, he's like abusing him half the time. You know, shouting at him, beating him up and stuff, and so knights aren't really being as portrayed as what you would imagine them to be, and he's kind of trying to be that ideal. And we see that finally, you know, sort of we see that in little bits, you know, his good character crescendo eventually to that big speech he gives to the crowd where somebody then stands up and farts. But no, it was a really good series, and I think we can all sort of root for Dunk. We all kind of have questions, I think, about Egg, and I think there's enough interesting characters. I want to see more of Lionel. I want to see where he goes.
100% agree.
And I think, I think there's enough question marks about where everything's going, what's happened, and there was enough good quality stuff going on. Like, you know, there was some. If you wanted some gore, if you watch Game of Thrones for the gore, we got gore. We got a few. We got a few brutal moments. I guess maybe it's been a touch light on the old sexy front, but we did get that enormous schlong, and we must never forget that.
We did, and I mean, if you weren't happy with the quantity of that kind of says more about you than it does anyone else. But yeah, let's get right. This is your spoiler warning. If you've not watched any of these episodes, we're going to go full spoilers. So this is for the full series. If you've not watched any of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, head on over to HBO, Sky Max, wherever you watch the show, and then come on back over to this podcast. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant.
If you are unhappy with the quantity of sexy time, you must go instead watch Wuthering Heights instead.
There's not really a lot in that either, to be fair. That's quite tame. Not really. It's very horny.
Why did they make the movie then?
It was very horny, but I wouldn't say there was like a lot of sex.
Okay, a lot of foreplay.
As much as there is a lot of sex, but it's not gratuitous.
A lot of emotional foreplay. There we go.
Yeah, if you want to call that foreplay. But yeah, this series, like, what I feel as if the episode did, especially at the start, it's got its own tone. It's got its own kind of feeling behind it. It doesn't feel like Game of Thrones. Like, it opened with like jazz music, and that first scene between Lionel and Duncan, for me, was the perfect type of comedy that this series has done very, very well. Yes, there's fart humour, and yes, there's poo humour, and of course, I piss my frillies at that type of humour. But the point where he's sitting talking and he's like, Dunk's not moving at all. Like, he's obviously after battle and still getting looked over. But when the maester's like, I can't do anything, he's going to die. And Lionel's like, what? And he's like, oh, it's well beyond my capabilities. He's like, I'm sure it was something along the lines of an itchy arsehole is beyond your capabilities, which I adored that line. I was like, that's such a good fucking put down. But like it gave you the grasp of what Game of Thrones is when you see them like talking to the Maester, and the Maester's like, oh, we're going to need to use leeches, and for this person to survive we're going to need to do XYZ. And then so you get that kind of like serious tone, and he's like, fucking shut, he's going to be fine, don't worry about it, he'll be fine. He's a terrible Maester. Loved that. Proper belly laughed at that shit. I thought it was so good. But I agree with you, Paul. I think that character for me has ended up being maybe like maybe not my favourite, but definitely like the underrated MVP of the series in terms of maybe not his character, but in terms of like performance and stuff. I cannot wait to watch more of him. Like I think, and I do think it does set up to have these characters return. But Daniel Ings as Sir Lionel was fantastic, and that opening segment where he's like, "Oh, come to," I can't remember the place. He's like, "But come there, and I'll love you as a brother. But if you don't come, I will hate you as a brother." Fucking perfect. It's like, you're still going to be my brother, but I'll fucking hate you. I'm sure it's Dorne because they all pump one another and Dorne, so that makes sense. Like he would make love to his brother. But yeah, love that opening scene. Like, what did you think of that?
No, I really liked it. It's just, kind of the Maesters are always kind of treated with some reverence as well. So the fact that he's just like, get the hell out of here, you quack,
Yeah.
like was kind of funny. And Lionel's by far one of my favorite characters in this.
Yeah.
I like his whole vibe, his armor, and all that. So I'd be curious to see more of them in the next series and how they cross paths. I think they kind of set this up eventually in the end of the episode. They go off on an adventure, so I think there's easy enough scope for us to be passing through Dorne. I believe you're right there, Dorne, passing through Dorne and having a wee adventure with Lionel again. So I definitely think we'll see him again. But top character.
I think the thing for me that's kind of that I've realised about like not fully grasping what has actually been happening in Night of the Kingdoms is like, I didn't realise who was the king. So I'm still actually looking this up just now. Like I didn't realise. So I thought the blonde guy who was Egg's dad is now the king, but he's not the king. He's one of the princes.
Right.
So it's his dad is the king. So I'm trying to look up just now who it actually is. But yeah, to me, I think the thing that I struggled with, and you do struggle with this, I think, in Game of Thrones, because there's that many different people. The names are really odd. There's also so many people with the same names. You're trying to figure out who everybody is and stuff. But by the end of this, I'm like, right, I might not know their names, but in terms of character, I'm like, right, obviously you've got Duncan Egg. Loved that. Loved those two characters. You've obviously got all the Targaryens. I'm still not. It's like Aeon, Aerion, Gaegon, all the ons.
All the ons.
I know where they are sitting. You've obviously got the Baratheons over the other side as well, and then the dad he's not the mad king. Is he the mad king? No, he's not the mad king. The mad king comes after Egg. This is where we need Mooney. Mooney's got diarrhea just now. Mooney can't be here because he's got diarrhea.
He would be, but he's sitting on that.
He would be here.
You
Yeah, he can't. He's not been able to get off the toilet for the last 2 days.
He's
but yeah,
with us in spirit.
Yes,
shitting in spirit. There we go.
Shitting in spirit, quite like this show. But yeah, like I know where all the chess pieces are now. I might not know exactly how they move, but I know where the chess pieces are. Like that's where I'm kind of at with this series. There was some lovely stuff with Dunk's character. I really liked his arc overall through this series, like where he starts off as this kind of knight that doesn't get knighted. I'm still right. In fact, that's a question I'm going to put to you. Where do you stand on that? Do you believe he wasn't knighted? Do you believe he was knighted? Do you believe that we've maybe not been seen the memory? Do you think that the memory that we did get was the full thing? Like, where do you sit on that? Because me and you haven't read the books.
I wasn't even certain at that point if it was a memory, if he was just, imagining, like, the tree and whatnot. But I think you're maybe right that it is a memory. But no, and then they obviously do the fake out where he's like, "Oh, he's dead. Oh no, not yet." But,
yeah, that was funny.
But I do think it kind of makes sense that he's not knighted, because there was always those little question marks at the start of the series where he's obviously not comfortable lying, but this is like the one lie he has to tell if he wants to be a knight.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it because he is he's not a knight, but he's knight
Mm.
in every other sense. So like when it comes
He
to
is. He's everything a knight should be.
yes, no,
So ultimately, you hope that he will actually get that title from someone. But there was a
courage,
lovely wee
heart,
line as
and all
well.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was a lovely line as well where Lionel kind of says to him, "It's like it's not your fault. The gods didn't. You didn't kill him. The gods did because the gods don't take a fool." And he's like, "Oh well, what about me?" And in that sense, you kind of got that feeling where it's like, "Oh, he is a liar. He is someone that's fooling people that he is a knight and stuff like that." But yeah,
I think
he says that he doesn't.
I think the line actually was fraud, which is probably how he feels.
Yeah, fraud. Yeah,
And the thing is, so obviously he's lying, and that's obviously really interesting seeing that. But he's only a fraud in the sense that he's not got like the birthright to be a
yeah,
knight. But in every other sense, he would be like the perfect knight. They even, later in the episode, the egg's da is like,
yeah.
come train me, boy. Uh,
So what I'm going to show you right now, right? I'm going to do a little comparison right over here, right? This right here is my Spider-Man shelf, right? That's where all my Spider-Man pops are. Big fan of the guy, right? Love that character. And the phrase that usually comes with Spider-Man, Paul, I'm testing you now. What is the phrase?
live hard,
With
live
live long and
hard,
prosper.
live hard and die fast. Is that
Live
Spider Man?
hard, die young. No, with great power comes great responsibility, and
Oh
and
damn it!
all these
Yeah.
different, yeah, of course. Well, all these different iterations that we've had of Spider-Man, they've kind of said it, but in a different way, but it means the same thing. And there's a part in one of the Tom Holland movies where he talks about. I think it's Tony Stark's talking to him, and he's like, "Why do you do this? Like, why do you up every morning and what makes you go?" And he's like, "Well, I didn't have these powers, but now I do. And if I didn't use these powers to help and benefit people, then why I don't deserve them in the first place." And I got that kind of sense from Dunk, where, like as you say, he was talking to Egg's dad. He was talking to I'm going to get his name up just now so that we can all say the name. He was saying to Prince Makar. He was talking to him and he's like, "I'm not interested in princes anymore." And you could see that he was dejected and someone died to try to kind of save his name, and he's just like, maybe this isn't the world for me. But ultimately, the journey that you see him kind of like, I want to be a knight, and like one of the fucking lines I'm sure he says at the beginning is like, "Stop raping that woman," or whatever, like when he's pretending to be a knight and stuff. So he knows all the things that he's coming to protect people. And he's obviously like dishevelled, and he's kind of disenfranchised with being a knight because it's not all it's cracked up to be. But I love the fact that by the end of it, he's like, "No, I need like the memory of his knight that kind of looked after him." He's like, "No, I need to pass that on to Egg." And there was a lovely scene as well. There's so many nice little, and it's amazing what they pack into 30 minutes. There's a nice scene with Daeron Targaryen where he's the drunk one, where he's just like, "Look, I'll tell you now, Aaron used to be a nice little boy, and now he's not." And that's the moment that it turned for Dunk, where he's like, "No, I will take Egg because Egg's good." And that kind of tied into the moment where Egg was going in to kill
Yeah,
Aaron,
yeah. That was a good
and his
moment.
dad kind of stopped him. And can I just say as well, there's times where you say like, "Show don't tell." I love that they told us without showing us that moment where his dad puts his hand on Egg, and you just hear the clink of the knife hit the floor. Oh, fucking television, like fantastic. So giving us that kind of look into, look, he's a Targaryen and he can turn, and he's more than likely, if he stays in this world, he's going to turn. And there is this like, there's a lovely kind of mirror image of like, you start to see his blonde hair coming back through, and that's the moment where he goes to try and kill his
Yeah,
brother.
good little hint of like the madness kind of maybe coming
Yeah,
through.
but by the time he goes back and says to Dunk, "No, my father said you can look after me, or I can be your squire," he's bald again, and it's like, it is. There's so many lovely like images and things that they're tying in, going, "No, the Targaryen in him is going to fucking come out, but someone like Dunk is going to have to teach him. No, no, no. This is how we do it. You need to kind of take from me what I took
I cannot
from my
wait.
prince,
I cannot wait
Arlen
for that
Pennytree."
eventual blonde wig. I can't wait. I hope it's.
I think he's actually got blonde hair. To be fair, I've seen videos of him.
I think it's gonna be like a blonde Elvis style toupee. That's what I
Just
want.
a big quiff.
That's what I want.
Was there any other standouts? Any other standouts for the episode in this particular episode for you, mate?
Yeah, I do actually. On the question of frauds, and I was wondering how you took this moment. Clearly, the wee guy, I forget his name, the
Raymond.
one that Raymond the
Is it
shifty
Raymond?
or the worried or
No,
Raymond
the reluctant. Raymond the reluctant.
That's it, Raymond the
Yeah,
reluctant.
Sir Raymond the reluctant.
Obviously, there's that nice moment where he like buys him the horse, and he's like, "No, no, you keep the horse," and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna start my own little cider mill, that'll be all fun, the orchard." Yeah. But I just want to point out, like, he's thinking he's marrying a noble woman, but I feel like, yeah, no, it's
say it
noble in another sense, in a different profession.
Are you talking about the lady that was quite clearly up the duff 6 months, but told him he got her pregnant?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, love that moment. But again, I like that kind of stuff because again, you can look at it in very different ways. You can look at it as Raymond being gullible and stupid and not fucking clicking, or you can look at it in the way that I'm choosing to look at it. He's a very noble and very caring. Like he chose to fight against his family for Dunk. He chose to put his life at risk for Dunk. He volunteered to be a knight to help aid a friend and stuff like that. And something as simple as like, yeah, it's gullible, and if he does believe it, he's a fucking idiot. But like for him to be like, oh, she says that she's pregnant. We lay together. I'm going to do the right thing. We're going to get married and blah blah. And I'm going, good for you. Like he was my favorite character. I love characters like that. It's the same in Game of Thrones. Like when people talk about Jon Snow, fucking Tyrion, whoever, like Daenerys, whoever your favorite character was, Arya, whoever. I tend to like the ones that are like almost side characters that you would go, if you do a spin-off, I hope it's about them. So the big ginger fella for Game of Thrones was one of my favourites. The Robert Baratheon's bastard child was the blacksmith kid. He was one of my favourites. And it's like, to me, this is who Raymond is. Like, Raymond is one of these side characters that ultimately is like, you're not the main guy, but I fucking like loved what you brought to this show, and it was very good and very fun. But I agree with you, like it was a very funny scene where she's like, just the look she kind of like, Dunk's obviously still like limping and big black eye and all that, and he's just standing there going, he's just sat there going, is this fucking like, is she serious here? Loved all that. It's really, really good.
Yes, no, it was that was a good little bit of levity. I think he's a great character, so I was just wanted to point that out. Just in the theme of frauds, I thought that was important to bring up.
Oh yeah, of course. There was a lovely embrace as well between Raymond and Dunk, where they hug each other and stuff like that. And you don't see a lot of that, like actual, like genuine tender moments in Game of Thrones and stuff like that. But as I say, like this episode, it's 30 minutes long. There is a lot in it, but there's not. It's very. It's hard to tell. Like a friend of mine, I'm going to actually go and get my phone too. So my friend actually texted me about it. He's been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram about the show, and I just texted him saying, "Oh, I'm loving it. It's fantastic." And he says, "Was perfect in exactly what it was. The small complaints I've had to really dig for. So that says something." And I think that kind of agrees with what I was saying at the beginning of this, the beginning of the series when we were reviewing it. Is I'm enjoying it, but there's something about it where it's just, I'm like, I want a wee bit more. So if anything, it was just like, give me more of it, because it's like, it's like, it's hard to kind of say. It's almost as if like, if you're eating something and you've got that taste in the back of the mouth, or you do a wee burp and you can taste it and you're like, I could do a wee bit more of it. I could have another wee bag of them, or I could, do you know what I mean? Like that was what this was. But ultimately, when we get to this, the 6 episodes, we've had roughly like 30 minutes each, so you're talking 3 hours worth of content. I'm happy with the 3 hours that we got, but I want more. Is my only complaint about this show. And if your complaint is, I've enjoyed this so much that my main complaint is, give me more of these characters, give me more of these stories, I think you've got a hit. In my opinion.
No, that's true. You always, what's that old adage? Leave them wanting more. You know.
Yeah.
Same in show business.
100%.
Same for TV. So I think you're better off leaving an audience wanting that wee bit more, finding out a bit more about these characters and their adventures, rather than giving them too much and saying, actually that was good, but probably could have done without that last episode or something. So I totally agree. I think I'm looking forward to the next season. Hope they can keep the production levels and the quality up, and I think we'll have a great old time.
So before I kind of look into the future of season 2, what did you think of the ending? Like the ending.
Loved it.
So the 2 points I want to bring up is the ending that we didn't quite get, and then the actual final scene of the show. So the ending that we didn't quite get, the Egg turns up to Dunk. Dunk has went back and says, "I will take your boy in Marowak," or whatever his fucking name is. Fucking Marowak, what am I on about? Cubone Maw. Makar says, "Look, my boy's not eating in a fucking shed. He's..."
Whose car? Whose car?
Makar.
What's your car?
Makar. Enough of that, Paul. Yeah, so Prince Makar, he says, "Look, my boy's not eating he's not eating in like squalor, he's not eating like shit, he's going to have meat and he's going to have this and that." And ultimately you feel as if that there does seem to be like a almost a fight against himself with this prince. Like he obviously wants the best for his kids. There's a moment of fragility where he says, "Look, this is he's my last son," and he's already seen like one of his sons drinking himself to death. The other one thinks he's a fucking dragon, and then this one obviously just doesn't want to be there. And I think the lovely thing for me is there is care from his dad, but I think his dad, his sons, and Egg especially knows if I stay here, I'm going to become him. Talking about Aeron. And I think the choice of Egg running away is fantastic. I love that. Like, because again, you've seen that side of him, the Targaryen side, where he was going to go kill his brother, but ultimately he's ran off, which we didn't know. But he's like, so he turns up and he's like, "Oh, my father says I can serve as your squire." And again, you get that Dunk going, "Right, that one's yours. Don't touch that one unless I tell you, or I'll fucking give you a slap over the head." And we haven't actually, he's threatened Egg with a scalp. But he's never actually done it, and that's something that I'm like, I do like that though, because he's obviously using the stuff that he got taught from when he was a squire to use it against Egg, but ultimately he's not. I don't think he's that type of guy. But with the ending being, Prince Makar is like, "Where is Egg? Where is it?" So Egg's obviously done a runner. One of the big reasons why I'm gutted that Mooney's not here is there's a lovely little bit where he's like, "Oh, where do you want to go?" And he's like, "Oh, we could go anywhere in the Seven Kingdoms." And he's like, "Yeah, well, there's nine realms." He's like, "No, everybody knows there's 7." And then Egg just rhymes off 9, and I'm like, there has to be more to that. Like, what? Like, where is what have we missed? Why is it called the Seven Kingdoms? What? Like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know this. So yeah, what did you think of the? Sorry, on you go.
I'm wondering if it's something to do with like the wall, and they don't count anything past the wall or something.
Maybe, yeah, it could be.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
If you lovely listeners and watchers know, put it in the comments. Explain to us why there was 9 instead of 7 and all that. Where is that confusion? Why are we as confused as Dunk is? Put it in the comments. So yeah, like the finish that I thought, or the final shot of the season, I thought was absolutely stunning. Where you've realised that Egg's done a runner, he's now with Dunk, and you see them kind of riding off with Sir Arlen, the knight who Dunk squired to, riding alongside them, and he veers off to the left as Dunk and Egg. Yeah, as Dunk and Egg kind of continue, and I just thought it's such wonderful imagery of kind of following Sir Arlen's kind of teachings, but now him and Egg are now going to go and kind of make their own journey, and he's going to kind of take him under his wing. I just thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was so nice.
It's just so goddamn wholesome. I just want to take that moment, bottle it, and make it into a Hallmark movie. Urgh.
Which you don't normally get in Game of Thrones, and it's rather enjoyable because, again, we Paul and myself have done a reaction to the new House of the Dragon trailer that is on our TikTok or Instagram if you follow us on TikTok or Instagram, and that looks like it's just going to be death, fire, kill, cry,
bang,
like,
bang.
So this was it was such a nice wee moment. Like, speak on that for me. Like, what did you like that? Like, what was it about it that you liked? If you did,
totally. Like you've got the horse that he's obviously just given off to Raymond the Reluctant. So you know
Mm,
from a because they don't make it obvious, you know, anything's like a ghost, a memory, or anything. You know, it's just three horses riding off into
yeah.
the sunset together. But we know that that horse is not with him, and then you obviously you can piece together who's sitting on it, and
Mm,
just the way he just takes a sharp sort of left turn into the field because he's obviously then it's like getting lost in the fields and then kind of almost like
mm,
sunset, and you just see them riding off, and now it's obviously that passing of the torch sort of thing, you know, and
yeah.
but keeping the sort of memory alive. He was like along for the journey because he's been
Mm,
relying on his lessons this whole
yeah.
time, you know, like to be a knight and get himself through that tournament.
Mm.
And now it's more he's ready to take on that role and pass on what he knows to Egg. So I liked it.
So here's a question for you because we can now look towards season two. So I can give you some facts on season two that we know. So the first details is A Night of the Seven Kingdoms season two. This is coming from Discussing Film. It'll be 6 episodes again. Each episode will be between 30 and 60 minutes, which I find interesting if they're going to change it up. I would hope they kind of keep the structure as is, and then maybe the finales like 40 minutes or 60
Yeah,
minutes, or like if there's
special
a big battle
episodes.
one, we get a wee bit extra. Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind the 30-minute thing now that I know what it is. It's adapting the Sworn Sword story. Don't know what that means. Mooney, let us know. Listeners, let us know. Dunk and Egg will go to Dorne, and it's now in production, eyeing a 2027 release. So the question I was going to ask is like, what's your thoughts? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Obviously, just those kind of ones. But in terms of what we were talking about with Sir Aaron and Dunk, do you think we'll get more flashbacks? Do you think we'll see a definitive he didn't knight him, he did knight him? Do you think like we're going to get more kind of teachings? And because me for one, I loved the way they used the flashbacks and stuff in terms of if it was just for a joke when he was getting slapped, or that moment during the battle where he was like, get up, and it kind of roused them to get up. I enjoyed all that kind of stuff. So like, do you think we'll get more of that in season two, or do you think that's us kind of Sir Aaron's no more, not no more, but like he's not going to be used as much to kind of forward the story?
I think that was a definite goodbye. I'm not saying we'll never get a flashback, but I think especially because a lot of his flashbacks relate to kind of like what he's been taught, especially the get up stuff. You know,
Mhm.
it's like, come on, get up, get up. That was like his motivation to like stand back up and fight. So I think
Mhm.
we've kind of said goodbye to Ireland,
Mhm.
unless I could see them doing like a funny flashback or something. But I think we can say goodbye to him there. I think I've no idea what the sworn sword is. I'm imagining a sword with a mouth and it swears at people.
You're a
May,
fucking idiot.
may,
You're a
may,
fucking idiot.
maybe that's wrong. Who knows? Maybe I'm right. Put it in the comments. Is Paul right? Give us give us your thoughts. But other than that, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to how Dorne is. I can't remember if we spend too much time in Game of Thrones or House of Dragon.
I don't think we did. I could be wrong. More than likely, I'm wrong. So Dorne is where Pedro Pascal's character comes from, isn't it?
I
So
believe so.
Dorne is where Cersei and her brother's daughter, which is a fucked up sentence to say, but that's Game of Thrones. She goes to the people with the chainmail masks. That's Dorne, I'm sure. I could be
Oh
wrong.
yes, yes.
I think that's Dorne.
It's
But yeah,
all coming back to me.
ultimately, it's all got to look like Game of Thrones to me anyway. But yeah, I'm uber excited. Something that I didn't really know much about, and I was like, when we knew the series was coming and stuff, but it was an early release. They were 30-minute episodes. Even the first 2 episodes, I was kind of like, yeah, it's good. Yeah. But by the end of the series, like I adore this season. I cannot wait for season two. I think it's going to be a wonderful. Uh, it's going to be a wonderful season two. I love the actors. I love the casting. I love the tone. I love the jokes. I love the brutality. It's just such a it's a nice wee amalgamation of what Game of Thrones is and then what A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is. It's got nice wee hints of Game of Thrones, but it's very much its own thing.
I
I've
te-
thoroughly enjoyed this season.
I'll tell you what I would love to see in season two.
Hit me.
I'd love a scene where Egg
Where?
um I don't know where exactly, but I would love a scene where Egg takes like a little something. He doesn't know what it is. It looks like maybe plant-based, maybe. And he goes,
Right.
what? And he goes, and then he just totally has a wee smoke of this thing, and then he's just
Right.
like, he turns to Dunk, and he's like, dude, where's my car?
So I'm gonna apologise first of all for the joke, and second of all for wanting Paul's thoughts are his own. Paul's thoughts do not align with the Withmates podcast on this following statement. We do not want to see a child of 10, 11 years old smoking a doobie. We don't want to see that. That's just a Polly smack thing, right? If you've got issue with that, at Stirrit Story. That's where to take all complaints. At Stirrit Story. You're such a fucking idiot sometimes. Let us know. In fact, we've not done scores for quite a while. What would you score this out of 10? Where are we getting on the Withmates rankings? I will remind you. Give me your score, and I'll let you know where that kind of sits.
I would happily give it an 8. I might even go as far as a 9. For sure.
So amazing, incredible is where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. The only thing for me is I want more, and that's a good complaint to have. But I don't think it's quite 10 out of 10. It's not far off, but I think 9 out of 10 is fair. 8 out of 10 really, really good. Like it's those 3 middle episodes were fucking unreal. Like I loved those. And there's lovely moments within each of the other episodes that are really kind of memorable and enjoyable and stuff like that. But yeah, let us know in the comment section what you ranking, what you rating A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, what is our scale. I'll give you our scale just so that you can join in. So 1, absolute dung. 2, shite. 3, bad. 4, meh. 5, okay. 6, good. 7, great. 8, amazing. 9, incredible. And 10, as close to perfect as possibly can be, aka sinners. That is all for this week. That's what it is. That's what it is. That is the rankings. I don't make it. I don't do this, mate. I don't make the rules. Let us know your thoughts on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. What are you looking forward to in season 2? All that good stuff. We've got plenty coming to the podcast. We're going to start doing our TikTok lives very, very soon because I think we've got a couple of cinema trips before I leave to Lincoln, and we need to get that all organised because Paul, we're about to head into a very, 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 very busy month because not only do we have Daredevil, not only do we have The Boys, we also have Invincible, and I'm pretty sure we've got Darth Maul at the start of April as well. So there are so many things coming out in the next 2 months, and we're going to try and cover as many of them as we possibly can. We need to figure out how we're going to do that. We need to figure out when we're going to do that, where we're going to do that, and who's going to do that. But we'll be covering it on whatever kind of, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, whatever. We will be there. So make sure you're following us at WithMatesPod on all social media platforms, and if you have not yet done so, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Subscribe to us, get us up to 200 followers, get involved in the conversation. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow us at Andalf the Great, at Stirrit Story, but as I say, follow us at WithMatesPod. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Latest on the main J.